Example 2, the roots of the equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0 are alpha minus 2 and alpha plus 2, where a, b, and c are constants. Prove that b squared is equals to 4a into c plus 4a. So you've been told the roots of the equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 are alpha minus 2 and alpha plus 2, where a, b, and c are constants. So prove that b squared is 4a into c plus 4a. Solution. Now, they are telling you the roots of an equation, and the equation they are talking about, the root, is a quadratic equation. Are you seeing that? So the roots of a quadratic equation, the roots of any equation, be it quadratic or any equation of higher powers, any polynomial of higher powers, when you're looking for a root of an equation, you are simply looking for the solutions of that equation. Are you seeing that? So they are saying the solutions of this quadratic equation is alpha minus 2 and alpha plus 2. So you ask yourself, how do I get the roots of a quadratic equation, isn't it? So if I have a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c to be equals to 0, then I can solve the value of x. X has two values, isn't it? So using the quadratic formula, x is minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So that is how to find a solution of a quadratic equation. So from here we can see the two roots. One is having a positive sign in the middle, the other one is having a negative sign in the middle, isn't it? So which one is the first root of this equation? The first root here, x1, is negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, isn't it? So you can see 2a is a common denominator. So if 2a is a common denominator, then it implies here we have minus b over 2a plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So that is the first root of that quadratic equation. So the first root of that quadratic equation we found is minus b over 2a plus root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Then the second root of this quadratic equation, we now take a case whereby we have that subtraction in the middle, isn't it? So the second root will be minus b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, isn't it? So from here, 2a is a common denominator, so there we'll have minus b over 2a, then minus root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, isn't it? The first root, which is x1, is minus b over 2a plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, which must be equivalent to alpha plus 2, because this root is having a positive sign in the middle, meaning we use the root which is having a positive sign in the middle. Are you seeing that? Then the other root, which is minus, the other root x2, which is minus b over 2a minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a is equivalent to alpha minus 2. Are you seeing that? So if you look at that, the sign in the middle of one root is positive and the sign in the middle of the other root is negative. So it means this, the first root will tell you the first term there is alpha. So the first term there, which is alpha, is minus b over 2a. The second term, which is root b squared minus 4ac over 2a, is equivalent to 2, isn't it? Are you seeing that? It's equivalent to 2. So from there we can get rid of the denominator, because we want a case whereby b squared is equals to 4a into c plus 4a, isn't it? So what do? We get rid of the denominator, meaning we multiply both sides of this equation, square root of b squared minus, so square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a is equals to 2. We multiply both sides of that equation by 2a to get rid of the denominator, isn't it? Are you seeing that? So what do we have? Square root of b squared minus 4ac is equals to 4a. So for us to get b squared, we must get rid of this square root, isn't it? Meaning we square both sides of the equation, isn't it? If you square both sides of the equation, what do you get? Square goes with the square root. Square goes with the square root, you remain with b squared minus 4ac. Then 4 squared is 16, a squared, then a squared, isn't it? Then we have to make b squared the subject of the formula, isn't it? So to make b squared the subject of the formula, negative 4ac goes on the right hand side of the equation, isn't it? So here we remain with b squared is equals to 16a squared, then plus 4ac. So negative 4ac, when it goes on the other side of the equation, it becomes positive 4ac. So on the right hand side of the equation, we factorize out a common factor, which is 4a, isn't it? So the common factor there is 4a. If you factorize out 4a, here you remain with 4a, then you remain with 4a plus c, isn't it? So you are told to prove that b squared is equals to 4a into c plus 4a. You just swap the terms inside the bracket, isn't it? Then you prove what is required. So this is c plus 4a, and this one is 4a plus c is the same as c plus 4a. So you just swap to meet the standard of the equation you are told to prove. Are you seeing that? You are told to prove that b squared is equals to 4a into c plus 4a. Are you together?